and we did a Dragon's Den. Now I don't get time to watch much TV, so the kids had the advantage on me, but I've been already talking to them about a new crossing over the Thames, where it would be, what would the impact be, how could it be built, and the money and all those kind of things. And they've been doing a school project, and they've built models of a bridge, and they had to make a presentation to me, to Father David and to the head teacher about their particular project, about where the bridge would be, how much it would cost, what was the impact on the environment, on local people. Absolutely fantastic. Now you're talking about pretty young children here, and very impressive. So we were the judges for Dragon's Den, fantastic. And then went on to open the new Sure Start Centre we've got here in Lanesdon. Met some of the mums. I got to play with the kids then as well. So actually a pretty fun day, because I've been seeing lots of children, out and about seeing people. It's pretty cold though. And
you're out and about after here? Do you go out and about on the door, on the stump, so to speak?
Yes, yeah, I usually try and do at least one session on a Friday, just sort of going out where I'm unexpected and knocking on a few doors and talking to people. It's quite difficult really, because you'll never find lots of people in. So whatever time of day or night you go out, there's a lot of people that aren't at home. But I think it just gives you a taste of how people are feeling about issues, and we do that throughout the year. It's more fun to do it in the summer than it is to do it in the winter.
So people will see you out and about on the streets of your constituency, and I spied some of your team in the public gallery at Thurrock Council's meeting on Wednesday night. What are your observations of what's going on down there?
I'm staggered by it, I have to say. I've got a local government background, so I believe in good government. And what we're seeing in Thurrock these days isn't good government. So it must have been difficult even then, I think, though, for Anne Cheel, who's been a loyal Conservative, she's a former leader of the council, to put a motion of no confidence in her own leader. So, no, Gary Haig hasn't been leader that long. He's already had one former leader leave the Conservative Party and join the Labour Party, and now he's got another one put a vote of no confidence in him. Absolute shambles.
Well, if you were him, what would you do?
If I was him, we wouldn't have got to this position. Because I think an important thing for a leader to do, A, is to show leadership and work with your entire team. I think things have got to a pretty poor stage when you find yourself in that position. I think he will find it hard to hang on as he wants to. He's clinging to power. Now, that'll probably be sorted out in the local elections, I suspect, anyway. But to cling to power when you're not really wanted, you're facing such strong criticism from across the board. Now really he was saved by the two independents who voted with the Conservatives to keep the Conservatives in power and to keep Gary Haig as leader, which I think he may have worked an arrangement with them. I don't know what agreement he came to, but that quite surprised me. But very difficult position he's in.
But would you, if you were a leader of a Labour group there, would you be thinking, I don't want to inherit this budget, I don't inherit these difficulties, maybe I'll tread softly here?
But I think what you do if you're a leader of a Labour group, your interest is the people of the Thurrock. And I think it's in the interest of people of Thurrock that Labour takes control of Thurrock Council as soon as possible. It will take some while to sort it out, I suspect, because this is pretty much of a mess down there. When you see organisations just losing their entire grants, you see the voluntary sector being hit the way it has, there's not much confidence in the council at the moment. When I first got elected, and over the first few years I was an MP, there was much more confidence in the council. I'm getting my workload increase with complaints and concerns about council services, which I didn't have nearly as much of that from Thurrock when I was first elected.
So going from the local issues to national issues, we can't ignore it, but what's your take on the bullying stories that's come out?
I was quite upset about them actually, because I spent a lot of time with Gordon Brown in 10 Downing Street, interestingly, roughly, well almost exactly the same time as the Rawnsley book covers. And had I seen any signs or indications of bullying by the Prime Minister or anybody else, I would have intervened or said something or done something. I didn't. So I know they're not true, and I find it sort of so unfair for somebody who works with stuff. Yes, he shouts occasionally, he doesn't glide along in a sea of equanimity, but nothing unreasonable at all. So I thought it was very unfair.
You think sometimes, you're saying, sometimes at work, the rattle goes out the pram and you go into one?
We all do from time to time. I think there's a degree that's acceptable and a degree that's unacceptable. And had I seen unacceptable behaviour, I wouldn't have stood for it, and I don't think other people would have done as well. We're not talking here about people who don't care about what we do. We're talking about people that are very excited, very emotional about their work, and very committed to what they do, on all sides. But I've never seen the Prime Minister act with anything other than professionalism in his work, and it was quite shocking to read the Romsey book. Interestingly, he never spoke to me, and I was there in Sandy for the entire time. He never spoke to me, and I've been talking around. It's amazing how many people he didn't speak to. Clearly he had his sources, but I know from times where I've been in the room and I read the account in the book, it's not quite how I remember it.
And opinion polls, 6 points lead, 5 points lead for the Tories. Does this encourage you?
Well, to be honest, what we've seen in the opinion polls, what we've been seeing on the doorstep all along. Now, I'm fighting a highly marginal seat, so I'm one of these people that get terribly nervous when the polls go up or down 1 or 2%. We've been just looking at our canvass returns when we're talking to people and what people are saying to us, and we're greatly encouraged by those. So the opinion polls reflecting what we're hearing on the doorstep. There's still some time to go, the gap is narrowing. You know, the only day that counts is election day. It's what happens on that one day. So it's a tough fight in this area.
I was interviewing the PPC at Thurrock, Carl Morris, the other day about fly tipping in Tilbury, and I said to him, is this really an issue for the PPC to be concerned with? And he believes what he's seeing on the door is that local issues do count very much so. Would you agree?
Yeah, I've always taken the view that I will deal with any issue that a constituent brings to me. Now, don't say it's not my responsibility. Well, I do have to say sometimes that I'm not the person who can make the change, and the person who has ultimate responsibility for that is this person, or the body that does is the council or the primary care trust or the health. But I'm your member of parliament, so I will make representations and help you and act on your behalf. So don't turn anybody away. You have to recognise that we don't make the decisions on everything, but we should always try and act for our constituents, whichever body is responsible.